Hey everybody, it's Patrick with P-Dub's Crypto World. Just getting to you today, let you know exactly what's going on and about a new strategy that I'm trying that's a little more hands-on. So stay tuned, as well as for this past week's giveaway winner. Alright, stick around.
Steady yourself even though you know that you're falling. Maybe you're falling, but you're still alive.
Okay, so today I want to go into about my new sell strategy. It's called Panic Sell. So a lot of times on the weekend here, I'm doing stuff that's on my computer. I'm doing a lot of stuff around here, and I'm one of those guys that likes to keep an eye on my tracker, see how things are going on, and my monitor. So I like to keep an eye on what's going on in my pairs log. Like, look at these. I've got some nice pairs here. And I've got a lot in my DCA. So I have some stuff in my pending. I just sent one to pending a little earlier here today. That was this ENG ETH pair. It's not doing well for me. I don't want to sink a lot of money into it at this point. I'm not even going to DCA down on it. So I moved it to get it out of my sight, get it out of my hair. Meanwhile, a lot of other stuff is starting to come down. You know, this MCO and everything else was as high as 22%. Even this GVT was as high as 22%, and it's coming down. And I got a large chunk of that in there, about 10% of my entire thing. So, whew, don't get too involved in one of them. But middle of the week, toward the end of this past week, I was into a lot of things, and that's where all this stuff comes from. I moved them to pending orders. That way I could still continue to do business. I had 0.414 ETH still to work with, and I only trade with let's take a look and see here. I only trade with 1.75% for each one, and I only do up to a single DCA. But let's get to the point of this, because there's a lot of different things going on. Obviously, I've been seeing a lot more improvement and benefits of things from coming from Poloniex to the Binance system. Now, for me, that's great. For you, you might have already been on Binance. You might not have made a mistake of going to Poloniex. So, I had to get another license to go to the Binance, but it has been well worth it so far. I haven't made back my money as of yet, but that's only because, you know, I'm trading in ETH, and I have such a small balance that I'm using. Looking here at my balance, you know, a little over $500. That's the value now, but when you consider what I started with, this is minuscule. But what that means is I'm hoarding my money right now because Ethereum is low. It is low. It is below $500 per coin. So I'm just hoarding my money to see what I can get the best for my buck. You know, less than a week ago, when I got in, it was like $750 a coin, and I got a little over that. So, you know, everything tanking, but you can still make money in the dips. You just got to know what you're doing and pay attention. So let's look here. This is the PT Tracker version 2 that I got this past week when I transferred over to here. So I made a clean slate change, went to Binance, went to Ethereum, and got the tracker. And it keeps really good numbers on all of the stuff I have going on. My balance, what's in DCA, what's pending, and what's in pairs. And more importantly, I love it. If you've seen my other videos, you've seen my spreadsheet that I was keeping on, and I constantly had to reset it because I constantly kept resetting what I was doing on Poloniex. So now that I'm over here, you know, I only started on the 10th with the bot on Binance and ETH and with the tracker. And I started in the evening at like 6 or 7 o'clock. So you can actually see that here. Go and take a look. 803 was my first sell. So, I mean, you can obviously tell there. So I don't have a high percentage, but I'm constantly working to improve myself and do better at this. Working out the kinks. I actually created my own little, this right here is my pairs files. my custom pair file. So I have in here all the different things that I would generally be using on a day-to-day basis and may not use. So if I'm looking through this, and eventually I'm going to get this up on the GitHub, you can actually find this. I can send you the pair file. It's got the actual for profit trailers. Then I've also got down on the following page coin specific settings that you can use, and the DCA settings. I haven't done anything with indicators because I don't really play with them much. So just looking over it, you know, I'm looking at things that are in green are telling me the specific things that they're doing here. So like if I'm in my pair settings, or if I'm in my buyer settings, and then even that subs down to the bear market buying and bull market buying, whether or not I'm buying with low BB or EMA gain, which my experience in EMA gain this week was very sour. I used it and it bought me a bunch of trash coins really quickly, and I had to wait for some of those, and some of them are still sticking around. I used some settings out there that I wasn't completely sure about. So the all buy value here and the trailing buy. So I'm not super familiar with buying in using the EMA gain. I wasn't happy with what I got in that short period of time, and it caused me to buy a coin that I had to do a stop loss trigger on. That was the first and only thing that I had taken for a loss in here. And you can actually see that here if we go and look. That was here on the 16th. Right here. It was for a pretty decent chunk of everything. So, you know, I bought it, and I was probably about, I'll say 7-8% of my account into it, and I sold it out at a loss of 5.5%. It was rough, but we got past it. We were able to recoup some of what we lost on the day. But the day before that was 0.81%. The day before that, 0.3, which was a day where I only did sell only to alleviate some bags. Every now and then you need to do that to purge some of that stuff. The pending log isn't always, it's not always for you, but yesterday I started paying a little more attention to it. I eked out 0.93%, so that was good, and that was because I started paying a little more attention to a few things. Like if we look here, I started implementing this panic sell. So I know generally most people use it if you need to take and get out of something just quickly, but I started using it in the sense of when I'm sitting here and I'm seeing what's going on in my tracker, and some of these things are hitting high and not quite getting there, it's not a good thing. So when you look here at most of them, they're 92%, 89, 75. You can see some of these where they start hitting higher, but the problem is they're not necessarily there. So I panic sold here and made 2.56%. Panic sold here 2.57. Panic sold here 133. And it's just maximizing what you can for the coin. So let's take a look at my sales log here. Yeah, that's right, 226 sales since Saturday of last week. So that Saturday evening of last week. That's what I'm talking is some high output. So let's look at some of the where I started using this a little more today while I've been sitting here. So I implemented a panic sell here. It was at 133. These coins, they fluctuate. Sometimes you get those nice jumps of 0.5% and then back. Well, using the panic sell, you can just see where that jump is and hit it there. Like fuel, I didn't get my put order in for a panic sell soon enough because I was keeping a little eye on what was going on with it. So I'd go over here and I'd look and keep an eye on what was going on the number up here. And that was the thing, is if you're keeping an eye on the number that's going on there, you can see what some of the things are doing. And especially, I didn't get my order in quick enough. I was at 276 when I put it in there, and it just did not accept quick enough. So in that kind of a blink, from 276 down to 160, you lose over 1% gain in that, because it hit a spike, recognized the spike, but when it dropped down too big for that trailing. So now you're out that extra cash. So I made 17 cents on that when I could have been 25, 26. And it's not a big deal, but it does all add up. Like here, I'm looking at Neo. I'm probably not going to mess with Neo because Neo is a solid earner. That's one of the things that I like about it, is it's a solid gainer. It doesn't make high jumps and really low drops. So at 1.11%, you know, I still should do my due diligence and take a look at it. See what the chart's looking like. See, it made a sharp drop and a sharp incline back. And as I'm looking, it dropped down to 90. That's not too sharp, but it sold it out. So, you know, I'm looking at being sold out here, still making 11 cents on it. Could have been 13, but can't be greedy and can't get it all the time. And I'm in the process of just trying to move pairs. Pay attention if I see it get up to there and it's creeping and it's dropping big and it's creeping up there. Use the panic sell function. You know, when I'm looking, I've done it 4 times today. 133, 140, 134, 191. And when you're not in the panic sell, if you look at most of these things, they're below 1%. So I'm cutting where I can take the extra percentage. I don't need to be greedy. I know that my stuff's not going to hit 3% gains before it drops, because I only use like a 0.07% of a trailing sell. And that's just because I don't want to have those big drops. You know, if it has a big drop, it sells it out. I can panic sell it, but if I get to, I want to be able to sell more coins. And if I'm at a 0.2 trailing percentage, then it's harder for me to sell coins. I need to be moving coins, because as you see, 227 coins. I don't want them to sit there and gain any moss. So just take that into consideration. You know, when things start to get stagnant, move them over to your pending log, a couple things, and let them settle out and sell on their own. You know, we're starting to get back up there a little bit, 12%, because the market's changing a little. It's going up to 480 on there instead of down at 460, 450. So the market's climbing for Ethereum there. So just keep track of what's going on, because a lot of this stuff is going to recover, and most of the time it's going to recover in the day. If you're looking at that, we lost 17% of Ethereum price today in the last 24 hours. So just things to take into consideration, what's going on. So you can see a lot of coins, still a lot of green, but there's still quite a bit of red too. And if you're buying in the red, then that means you're eventually get to the green. If you're buying in the green, then you may go red before you're back there. So just keep it. See, I've got 2 of these that I didn't figure, you know, we're going to go that soon, but now they're in green, possible profit options. Even down here, you know, I'll have, looking at 4 of these that'll be popping back into the pairs log before soon. It's just so much market fluctuation right now. Paying attention to the panic sell is going to allow you to actually, you know, do what you need to and get some of these things gone and make profit. So that's how I would say you can best serve yourself, by paying attention to the panic sell. And if you have any questions, I mean, definitely like, subscribe to the channel. I've got links down below if you don't have any of the profit trailer or the tracker, which I highly recommend the tracker. And not just because I'm an affiliate for them, but you see the benefits that it has. And I haven't learned how to use the option where you can actually look at it while you're away from your PC. I haven't figured that one yet, but that's just because I always remote onto my PC anyway to look at my my pairs log individually. And yeah, just I do a lot of tweaking. So remote desktop, I can go in and play with my pairs if I need to, because as you can see, I have 22 pairs right now. I don't normally run with 22 pairs right now. I'm only running that because I got a lot of things in my DCA right now. I burn my stuff at both ends. So I'll keep a low balance, but I'll keep chiming it out here, chiming it out. You know, my total pending value 1.189. It was like 1.78 ish yesterday. You know, just keep grinding it out. You know, it's not even noon. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I'm at 0.54% today. And if it keeps moving like things are moving, and moving things along the way, and if I start getting some of my pending log stuff will actually clear out, and some of my DCAs will clear, then I'm going to hit the 1% for the day. Like, look at this. Nibble at 122, and IOTA at 90. You know, those are good things to take a look at. Nebel's at 153. It's definitely time to take a look at it and start preparing for my panic sell. Hopefully they do implement this this button. I'm gonna hashtag nibble it because I don't want to implement it yet. 161, and it's a very sharp increase, and I am going to cut my losses here, take the profit. It's at 175 right now, which means it'll probably keep going up maybe a little bit, but if not, I'm still going to get it out at 175, hopefully in that range. So let's take a look and see what it just did here. So this is actually a live action sell. That's fun. That's funny. That wasn't intended. And something in the pending log might have sold. I had 9. I'm not sure what would have sold. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. Well, either way, something did sell. But yeah, it kept going up, and by the time that it sold it at 182. So you got to be willing to cut the amount that you're going to make. You can, and this is going to be great if they do enable a panic sell like next to the thing. You know, I made a 19 cents there, and look at my tracker here, it puts me up to 0.59. Man, if I'm rocking this pretty well and I'm getting this kind of movement today, I might be able to hit me 2% today. Yeah, not very likely with my given track record, but it's fun for me. I mean, obviously the whole point is to make money, but for some of us, this is the little high we get when we make a sell there. But if you're not sure about some of this stuff, I welcome you to join my Discord channel. I just created it. It's up and coming, up and going. You know, another option where you can get this little community going on, helping each other. I know there are some really nice ones out there, like Gnome's got one. I'm a member there as well, and the Profit Trailer and Profit Tracker Discords as well. But definitely like, subscribe, and now we're going to get to our giveaway. So this week's winner is, as you can see up above, it is StarCraft 2K. Definitely, he was a lucky contestant this week. I will be reaching out. Send $5 your way, and then we'll look for next week's. But yeah, man, I definitely recommend paying attention to what's going on in those panic sells. You know, my pairs log is kicking stuff in, it's popping stuff out, and you know, just see where it goes. You can keep moving things a lot quicker that way, and keep a positive profit. Okay, pairs log is back to 9. I'm not sure what had happened, why it showed 8. It might have been making a buy of something that is in my pairs log, and that's what it was. Just guessing there. GVT is in my pairs log. Oh, there we go. I love it when I watch everything just come back and go green. Alright, so definitely keep on trading, keep an eye on it from time to time. If you got a little extra time, maximize your profits during that time. Or, you know, you don't have to be hands-on. It's fun. But thank you for sticking around, and I'll quit the rant, and we'll see you in our next video. Like, subscribe, share if you like the content, and let's grow our assets. All right, thanks.